is his debut in the cage. Let's hear it for James Dixon. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he also hails from Coventry. He's 25 years old, stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighed in at 148 pounds. He fights out of UTC, and tonight is also his debut in the cage. Let's hear it for Paul Windsor. This amateur contest is fought over 3 3-minute rounds, and your referee in charge, Mr. Leon Roberts.
Debutants, Dave, both from very good gyms, as we have James Dixon from Lions Gym facing Paul Windsor of UTC, and we've only got to look at the corners of both guys. Great levels of experience for these young fighters to learn from. Yeah, of course. I mean, you look at Dixon's corner, likes of Andre Winner there, lots of UFC experience alongside Jim Wallhead. So although amateurs, Ben, these guys should have a good ground in the sport, because those type of coaches don't put their guys in unless they're ready. Windsor for me looking slightly bigger at the weight, and a little ranger as well. Both guys weighing in at the 125 limit. It's Dixon in the darker coloured Hayabusa shorts for Paul Windsor in the black and Union Jack Venom shorts, as it's Windsor who comes forward looking to counter a bit, Dave. Yeah, both guys, bit of a feeling out process at the moment. I think Dixon, he looks like a slightly more of a Thai sort of style, Ben, in the way his hands and the low kicks he's throwing. Dixon for me as well, Dave, throwing a lot of feints, which is something you generally tend to accompany. And there's a nice straight right on the pipe from Windsor as I say that. But Dixon throwing the feints out, making his opponent think a little bit. And a nice kick to come forward. He's got to be mindful of keeping the hands up at that point. Yeah, obviously, from this point of view, when you've got two guys in different stances, you've got traditional and Dixon going against the southpaw Windsor, it often takes a little while to work out each other's styles. And from Dixon's point of view, from that Thai background, often it puts your sort of low kick rhythm out. You know, you're looking to throw little kicks to the front leg rather than the big chopping kicks from the rear. So it often takes a little while for these guys to work each other's style out. Dixon looking for the takedown, Ben. He's got the single. Trying to switch his man round if he can. He's got the head burrowed in there really nicely. So neck, no risk of the guillotine. Windsor looking at his corner, but Dixon relentless, gets his man on the ground. Nice clinch work in terms of up against the cage there, Dave, and rotated quite nicely. Yes, excellent work in the scramble here from James Dixon as he tries to come out on top, but well done. Credit to Windsor, Ben, for regaining that guard. Dixon looked very busy, was working at side control at one point, but Windsor himself came round, and Windsor looking to throw some shots and maybe push up, but we can hear Dixon's corner screaming at him to keep on top, and he's done that in advanced position now, Dave. Yeah, inside control now, James Dixon. Let's see what he can work. Windsor, to his credit, Ben, he's not lying flat on his back. Maybe looking for a choke here, Dixon. It looked like he was going for a north-south, but didn't quite have it, but skipped all the way around, keeping body-to-body contact. That's what I like the most from that position. Didn't give his man an inch of space to get up. And he's controlling the paces, Dixon, in this round effectively with his good top work. Yeah, this is good top work from Dixon, because as we alluded to earlier, Windsor's definitely busy off his back. You see he's still working for position, but he just can't go anywhere at the moment. Great top control from James Dixon here in this first period. And we're talking the shorter rounds as well, Dave. This is in the amateur division, so we're only on the 3-minute rounds with the larger gloves. So a period of dominance on the ground of maybe a minute and a half is often enough to take one of these closely contested rounds. Great sprawl backwards from Dixon there as Windsor came forward. Yeah, as you say, Ben, in this amateur format, giving up top position is just much more dangerous than it is under the pro rules, because as you say, the shorter rounds, it's obvious really, you can't give up too much positional dominance to your opponent. Obviously, he wants to plant his feet and hurt Dixon. He's got to be careful that he's not too rooted to the floor, because Dixon has shown he's got takedown capabilities. Round 2 in this amateur flyweight bout. Dixon in the shorter shorts, Paul Windsor from UTC in the black and Union Jack Venom trunks. Nice leg kicks once again from Dixon. Take your point nicely there, Dave. He could very well be a Thai stylist, because you've seen it with the snap in the kick, certainly. Yeah, he just looks a lot more on his toes, really, and even his hand position in certain areas, you see he almost creeps into traditional Thai, so I wouldn't be surprised if Dixon's
maybe fought Thai before or works a lot of Thai in the camps.
Oh, nice straight down the middle.
Likewise, Ben, I'd be surprised if Windsor doesn't work boxing, because it's rare you see as many straight punches from MMA fighters, and he looks very straight and down the middle, does Windsor.
Dixon just flicking a higher kick up there, giving his opponent something to think about. Bit more of a sense of urgency for Windsor in this one, but Dixon underneath the punch, and as he did last time, he's looking to switch from that single if he can get it. Now he's looking to grab the hands together. It's hard to see from our angles. He got the double locked. Looked like he had it for a while, but just slipped as he was trying to transition upwards.
Yeah, Windsor needs to work that whizzer on that side, or pummel in, maybe turn towards his opponent. Briefly look to his corner for instructions. James Dixon just trying to pull that leg away. Sorry, Ben.
I was going to say, so often, Dave, not maybe the most kinetic element of the sport, but certainly one of the more tiring. This grapple up against the cage. It's 100% of one force one way against 100% of force in the other, and it's really fatiguing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the fight for underhooks begins. Dixon almost trying to run the pipe at times, but he's definitely struggling to take Windsor down. Windsor had a taste of that top control in the first round, but he doesn't want to be put back there.
As we alluded to, especially in such a shorter round of these round formats. In a round that's really close like this, a quick takedown from Dixon, another maybe minute and a half of top control might be all it needs to seal a deal.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, pushing against the cage, Ben, it doesn't look the prettiest, but if you can keep busy, you know, the likes of Lee Chadwick, Caffel, Pendred, these sort of guys, they work a good game in that way. They press their opponent up to the cage and just work strikes on the inside. From Dixon's point of view, he's not really staying busy enough in this position. That would be the only worry for his corner.
Double unders coming through now. It's well defended as Windsor. As I say that, he swims an underhook through now at that last minute.
Now Dixon begins to work the knees. They're not big knees, Ben, but from a judge's point of view, he's pushing his guys to the fence and he's scoring. In a round where very little is happening, Ben, this sort of thing can sway it for you, especially in a 3-minute period.
Often the difference maker, it's the intention of Dixon to press his man up there against the cage, and that's exactly what he's doing. Windsor's throwing back shots, but the biggest shots were coming up from Dixon in that period. Who for me looks the fresher of the two fighters as he wanders back to the corner.
Yeah, certainly, and it really just, for me, Ben, goes to show how far the sport is evolving in the UK at an amateur level. You see it time and time again. I mean, if we were to watch an amateur bout involving debutants, maybe, you know, even 3-4 years ago perhaps, you wouldn't see that the chess match you're getting now, you know. It's the game's moved on so much. These guys are so well-rounded, even at an amateur level. You can see tactically, you know, Dixon's working a game plan out there. He's trying to game plan Windsor, and you just wouldn't have seen that a few years ago. These guys probably just met head-on in the middle of the cage, you know. It's really progressing the sport at an amateur level, and shows like Fight UK are really giving these guys a platform to perform on.
Especially when we look at guys like this, the opportunities a couple of years ago, we talk about the amateur scene certainly, but at this weight, I mean, the flyweight category is something that's been newly expanded by the bigger promotions, and a lot of the smaller shows that had been doing the flyweight leagues and divisions for a number of years, their ranks have been bolstered because people can see now there is an end goal to it. If they can get good enough, get a good sequence of wins under the belt, there is the opportunity to go to a much bigger show where the flyweight division's exploding at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you look at the flyweight pro rankings in the UK at the moment, I expect that division to change hugely in the coming years.
Once again, the straight punches from Windsor telling the tale. As you alluded to earlier, Dave, maybe some boxing in the locker of the U2C man. He's not throwing a lot in the way of hooks. Everything that comes through is straight into the point, and Dixon grabs a hold of that leg. And after the first round, I think that's where he feels more comfortable. But good for single leg defense from Paul Windsor. We talked about the pressure of Dixon in the last round, but it was matched by the single leg defense of Windsor, who managed to keep the fight on his feet for the entire duration.
Yeah, great work from Windsor to avoid the takedown, but he's in a bit of a quandary, Ben, in the stand-up scenario, because obviously Dixon's reach with his legs is longer than Windsor's reach with his arms, and whenever Windsor tries to get in the inside and mix it up with his punches and maybe get some hooks into play, Dixon just wraps him up, pushes him up against the cage and tries to engage the grappling. So great tactics thus far from James Dixon.
And after the first round, where Dixon got the fight to the floor and was able to exhibit some top control. Surely him and his corner feel that you can't be that far away if you could get another big takedown from maybe stealing it. As he gets his man up and gets his man down, that's exactly what he wanted, and that's exactly what Paul Windsor did not want. Now he's back on the canvas and he's really going to have to start working.
Yeah, I mean, from Paul Windsor's point of view, Ben, we never like to second guess what the judges are looking at, especially when we're doing a different role in commentary, but he's going to need a stoppage probably, and now he's going to have to do a sub, and he's given up his back, Ben.
Got the hook in on the left-hand side, trying to swim the other one through as he does, and he's got the over-under, which was essential there, flattening his man out. This is great composure from two debutants, as it's James Dixon turning up the heat, but Windsor doing the right thing, trying to frame out of there.
Obviously, the bigger gloves, Ben, make it slightly more difficult to get this type of maneuver on. You often see guys these days, even at this level, struggling to secure the rear naked chokes. For me, Ben, Dixon, he could just strike here. He's got a strong position. He's probably up on the scorecards. Doesn't need to fish for this sub desperately for me, Ben. Could just strike and see where that takes him.
And obviously the striker is going to lead him with a lot of opportunities, but it looks like he's maybe got it under the neck now. Or has he? It seems to be quite on the chin. That's very tight. He's landing a few hammer fists.
As I mentioned, Ben, it's so difficult for these guys to get the chokes on with the slightly larger gloves. Just makes it all that more difficult. This is what I want to see from Dixon, Ben. Just throw the shots. Referee Leon Roberts taking a close look.
And it doesn't look like Windsor's off, opening up a lot of offense. The frantic second ball, and now he's under the neck. It looks like he's locked in. He's fighting off very hard as Windsor, but Dixon's got it locked in. Will he last out into the round? And he does.
What a finish to the round. And I tell you what, Ben, I'm very pleased for Paul Windsor there, because he deserved to go the distance in that fight. He showed some great defensive wrestling at the end, did very well to avoid the submission.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic fight to kick off with. Let's have a round of applause for both warriors. Come on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges have rendered a unanimous decision, scoring this bout 30-27 in favour of your winner. From the blue corner, James Dixon! But let's hear it for a very gallant runner-up. Let's hear it for Paul Windsor.